Hey everyone, Lisa Gifford here, and welcome to December the 17th. And I've got what you got in your box, so let's open it up and let's see what we got in our Martelli Advent Calendar for December the 17th. Oh my goodness, what do we got here? It says Martelli Puff Pouch Mini. We got the Martelli Puff Pouch Mini. So you know Martelli has the puff pouch, and I believe we have it in like 3 different sizes. So now you've got the mini that we're going to be making. So we got our instructions here, full written instructions. Of course, now we got our template. This one's a little bit different than the ones that we had done earlier this year because that one was a half size and bigger. So we got this one here is the full size, so you don't have to fold your fabrics. And then you have 2 coordinating fabrics. You've got, looks like 2 10-inch squares for your exterior, and you've got a 10-inch square for your lining, and you have a zipper. So this one here has a completed zipper, not zipper pull, zipper tape, so it's going to make it really nice and easy. So what do we need to do? So the first thing we need to do is we go ahead and get our fabrics all nice and iron flat because they're going to have a fold in them. And there's another thing that you're going to need. We did not put this into this packaging. You could either use a 10-inch square of batting or some fusible fleece like I have right here. You're going to need a 10-inch square of, I've got the medium weight or lightweight would work very well for this. Just some fusible fleece, something to, if you want to give it some body. You don't have to because it's just making a cute little coin purse. And I actually have a couple of them right here. So here is the little puff pouch that we're going to be making. It's got a little bit of a puffiness right here because of the darts that we're going to be sewing. And here it is with our lining. I've got several of them here. Here's one that I had done. And we added the D-ring with a little tab right here, but these do not have the D-ring with them. Here's another one. I've just had fun with these. These go together in probably less than 30 minutes. They go together very quickly. You're not having to do with the zipper puller. Just a lot of fun. So it's a little bit different than watching the full large tutorial that we have on our YouTube channel. This one here is just making a mini version of it and using a simple little zipper. I think you literally only need like a 9-inch zipper. I think the zippers that we have in here are a little bit longer. I think they're about 11-inch zippers. I think you only need a 7 to a 9-inch zipper to make these. Again, here's another one that I had done. And this one I done a little differently. I put the main fabric on here, and then I added it to the black, and then I just kind of flipped it around a little bit just to give a different look to the front and back. But you could just have so much fun making these. Again, they only take minutes to put together. All right, so let's get started on putting this project together. So once you get your fabrics all pressed nice and flat, and if you're using a fusible fleece or if you use the batty, be sure to secure it to your main exterior piece. So this is the one I'm going to be making today with this fabric right here. So you're going to have your lining and you're going to have your main fabric. Choose which one you want to be for your exterior, which one you want to be for your lining. And the one that you have that's going to be your outer fabric, be sure to either use a basting spray and put your batting on it, or in this case, I'm using a little, this one here is a lightweight fusible fleece that I've used on this one. And once you get that adhered to it, now we're going to do our cutting. And I chose this one because I wanted you to see how would you do this if you were using a fabric that's kind of a directional, like I have these here. Because most of these here are non-directional that I'm using when I made all of the samples. But this one has a little bit of a direction. So if I was to fold this in half to cut out both of them, then one of them would be right side up, but then the other one would be upside down. So you want to do 2 things. You can cut the one and then cut the other, cut 2 of them, or you go ahead and cut this piece in half. And if I'm not mistaken, it is 10 inches, so you can go ahead and cut this right at half on the 5 inches. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut it in half. And that way I know when I lay it, if I stack them up to cut them both at the same time, they will be both right side up and not where I'd have one upside down. So if you're working with a fabric that is non-directional, go ahead and cut them in half and then stack them up. And then when you go to cut both sets out, you can stack them on here and they're both going to be in the right orientation. Now this one here is a lot of fun because it's got all these lines on it, so you can cut it this way and have the lines that are vertical, or you can have the lines that are horizontal. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut out 2 for your exterior and 2 for your lining. So that's the very first step. After you get everything all pressed and ready to go, we're going to get these all cut out. So first things first, you're going to take a look at your template. You might see that you've got a little bit of the brown showing. So be sure to kind of get that excess removed from there. I see a little bit going on right here. So I would just take this and I would just trim this off. And you've got the cut lines that are in your template. So it's going to make it so much easier to do all of your cutting. Your blade will go right into each one of these intersections. All right, so once you get it all trimmed off and all your brown off, now let's go ahead and start doing our cutting. Again, you're going to need 2 of your exterior pieces and 2 of your lining pieces. So I've got these stacked up and we're going to cut all the way around. And this one here works a little bit better with our 28 millimeter for this one. You can use the 45, but I think the 28 works a little bit better. So I'm just going to cut around. Now I'm going to show you something that I do. Once I have my template here, not moving it, I'm going to go ahead and cut all of my tops. As I'm pivoting around. I'm not going to cut into the little angles yet. Now I'm going to flip it around and we're going to cut into my little marks here. So I do one side first, going into the little cut lines where the blade goes right up into there. Now I'm going to turn it, and now I'm going to go into it and then out. Back into it, out, into it, and then out. Keeping your fingers always out of the way. And you'll see that most of these pieces should all just come right out. If not, then you're just going to have to trim them just a little bit. Grab my scissors and get these all trimmed off. Just a little bit right here. If it's anything, it's just going to be a tiny little thread that you're going to be having to trim away that excess off. You're going to do this to get all 4 pieces done. 2 of your linings and 2 of your exterior pieces. Just a thread right here. Don't pull the thread because it might pull the thread out of the actual project and you'll get a little bit of a change in the way it looks. So let's just take some scissors, take the time and just clip away any threads that didn't get cut. So once you have all of your pieces cut, then our first step is sewing. You're pretty much done with your template at that point. So to sew these up, we're going to take these darts and we're going to sandwich them together and we're going to sew all 3. We got 3 darts here. We got your center one and your 2 outer ones. I always like to find it was easiest if I just take it and start with my center. So I fold it, matching up my straight edges right here. And we're going to sew 1/4 inch starting here, and we're going to keep coming all the way down till we come off the fold. And we're going to back tack here at the end of this fold. You're going to stitch this one, then you're going to stitch both sides. You're going to fold this up, starting here where they kind of cross over, stitch 1/4 inch down here, and then we're going to do it on the other side, lining up my straight cuts. Start here where they kind of cross over and stitch all the way down, and when I get down into the fold, just keep coming all the way down, and then we're going to back tack right there. So we're going to do that to all 4 of our pieces. So here's one that's already done, and then you're going to do it to both of your lining pieces. So let's go get this one done up right here. I find it easier if I just start with the center, and I just line up my straight edges there at the center, and then we just do 1/4 inch right down that center piece. And I like to back tack it here, and I just keep coming off to where I get off of the fabric, and I back tack it right there. Do the next one, lining up my edges. See where it overlaps right a little bit right there on top, so I like to drop my needle down right there. Back tack it into that, and then come on down. Creating like a little bit of a pleat here. And then one more to do. Kind of flip it over for this last one. Lining up my straight edges and stitching it down, just like we did before. Once you have that done, the next step is we're going to press open those seams. So on all 4 pieces, you're going to press your seams open. Just going to help it lay just a little bit flatter by taking the time to press those seams open. So I just kind of finger press it and then press it out. Press it to where it can't open up anymore. Using whatever tool you use to kind of open up those seams. Keeping your fingers out of the way. Pressing it to where it won't open no more. And last one. And you do this to all 4 pieces. Flipping it over and just kind of make it nice and smooth. So I have this one done. Did the exact same thing to the lining. Pressed open all of my seams. And then flipped it over and just gave it another press just to get it all nice and smooth. Now look how the lining with a fabric that has those lines on it, how it just kind of made a cute little design, everything just kind of all lined up for that one. So you do that for all 4 pieces. Once you have that done, now we're going to go back to our cuttings, to our table, and we're going to start with the next process of putting everything together. So you're going to need some clips for this. And this is where you're going to grab your zipper. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to find the center of your zipper. So by just folding it in half and matching up, to me it's the little edges that here, because we're going to be trimming this down at some point. So I'm finding my absolute center. So I'm folding it in half, and then once I have it folded in half, then I'm going to go ahead and chip off a little bit of a notch right here and here. So you can, with your scissors or with your rotary cutter, just get your little nips. So you're looking to get your little nips in here. So there you know this is where your center is on your zipper tape. So now that's our next step. So now we're going to go ahead and start the constructing of putting it all together. So once you have it all done, taking one of your exterior pieces, which is this one right here, I'm going to take my zipper and I'm going to place it right side down. So the right side up is where I see the zipper pull, the zipper slider. So right side down is I'm placing it right side down, and I'm matching up that notch that we just put in here with that center seam where we did our first pleat. And I'm going to put a clip right there to secure it. Center seam matching up with that notch. And then I'm just going to follow my zipper tape all the way down. So I'm going to put a clip here, and then I'm going to put a clip here at the very edge, and following it down on both sides. So I think I'm using about 5 clips right here. Kind of a little bit of an overkill, but my clips right here. So that is with my outer piece. Now I'm going to grab one of my lining pieces, and now I'm going to place it on top, right side down, matching up my center just like we did here. clip that one into place, and then just reposition the clips as I lay this down and lining everything up with the edge of the zipper tape and the exterior fabric. Everything should all line up and match up right here at this point. Now we don't even have to use a special zipper foot for this. We're going to go ahead and get this stitched down. You all ready? So let's go ahead and do our first stitching on this. So now I like to flip it up so I can actually see my zipper tape and my zipper teeth just a little bit more. And I'm actually going to continue to use my A foot that I have on the machine. And I'm going to drop my foot down to be where it's right there on the edge of my zipper tape. It's right there on the edge of the zipper tape. So it's going to be riding along the edge, but I'm going to move my needle over. I want my needle to go all the way over to the left as far as it will go. So I'm moving it all the way over to the 0, and I'm putting my foot back down. And so it's going to be sewing right there along that edge, and I'm going to have it feeling against that edge of my zipper teeth right there as I'm stitching it down. And I'm way beyond it right now, but this will all be trimmed off on a little bit. So it's going to be about 1/4 of an inch, I think, from the edge of my zipper teeth. And I found that that kind of made it look really nice by doing that. If you wanted to sew closer to the zipper teeth, you can. That would probably be needing where you need to put your zipper foot on it. But I'm just going to have my foot, and I'm setting it so my foot does not come up when I stop. I want it to stay down. And I'm just going to do a regular stitch and having the edge of my foot just ride right there along the edge of my zipper teeth. I'm going to sew all the way across. I can still feel it's right there on the edge. Going all the way down to where it's at the other end. And back tack it if you want. That way I didn't really have to pay attention to seam allowance or anything, but if I know that it stayed right there along the edge, it stayed pretty even all the way here. So once you have that done, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to roll this back and we're going to press it. So we're going to roll both the lining and the exterior fabric back, kind of give it a finger press, and then we're going to press it on both sides. Just to get it set. Because we're going to do a little bit of a top stitch here. It's not much, but we're going to go in about 1.5 inches in on both edges and just do a little bit of a top stitch just to kind of secure it. Now you don't have to do this stitch, you can completely bypass it, but just kind of seem to hold that fabric down just a little bit more. So I'm just giving it a good press, pushing it over as far as it will go. There we go. So now we're going to measure over about 1.5 inches from the edge. And we're just going to do a quick little top stitch, and we're going to mark that. So let me get me a little pencil, or we're going to mark that about 1.5 inches over. So my little ruler right here is about 1 inch, so I'm going to move it over about 1/4 of an inch from there. So I'm looking at this right here. We're going to go 1.5 inches, put a little line there, and then we're going to go 1.5 inches over here on this side. Put a line here. So it's just a short little top stitch that we're going to be putting right here. If you want to do it from center, it looks like we are about 1 inch and 1 1/8 from center on each side. So it looks like so that would be like 2.5 inches that you would be doing. So let's go ahead and get this side top stitched, and then we'll put the other side on. So I put my machine back on. Same thing, I'm going to flip it over where I can drop my foot right here beside the edge of my zipper teeth. But now I've moved my needle to be center. And it's just going to come right there along the edge. And I'm going to move it up to my mark, my first mark. Got my foot lining up right there along the edge of the zipper tape. I'm raising my stitch length up. We're just going to stitch right here. We're going to do a couple back tack. I got my stitch length at 3.5, and I'm just going to stitch all the way till I get to my other little line that I marked. It's just a little tiny top stitch, but it's just going to hold everything in place. And then back tack there. So I got this done. It's just a tiny top stitch right here. All right, so let's go ahead and get the other two pieces on. And trim off that little bit of thread right there. So just like we did before, I've got my other exterior piece laying up in front of me. Now I'm going to take my zipper tape and I'm going to match up that notch. And get my first clip in, holding it down. And clip it all the way across. Again, it's about 5 clips to hold it all down. All the way to the edge. And then taking your lining, right side down, matching up the centers again. And repositioning your clips to catch the lining piece. And just like we did for the front one, we're going to flip it over. So I get my teeth riding, my foot riding along the teeth. So I'm going to drop my foot down and slide my needle all the way to the left as far as it will go. And we're going to stitch this down like we did the first one. All right, so we're going to repeat what we just did. Once we have that stitch down, now we're going to go and get this side pressed, and then we'll do our quick little top stitch down. So just kind of rolling it back. Giving a good finger press to start. Get your top piece done, flip it over. Rolling back the lining as far back as you can push it. Press that. There we go. Now we're going to kind of take a look at where our marks were. You can kind of see them. So we're going to put our little lines right here to do our quick little top stitch. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it from where the lines are that I did on the very first one. So I see this one right here. We're going to put a little dot there, and this one right here, and just across from it, put that little dot there. By start and stop, and we're going to do our quick little top stitch going all the way across. So we're going to reset the machine back to putting my needle in the center. And now I've got my feet my foot's going to ride along the zipper teeth, but on the opposite side. Positioning it to where I'm going to drop my foot down and then move it to the position of where that little dot is. Make sure everything is pulled over. Raise my stitch length up and just do a couple quick little back tack here. And then just do a quick little top stitch till I get to the other mark and stop and back tack. And it's right here. All right, so once you have that done, now we're going to take our zipper pull and we're going to pull it back. And about 1.5 inches from the edge, right here, from the very edge, you're going to do a tacking of the zipper so it will stay together. So about 1.5 inches from where the fabric meets the zipper, we're going to sew across the zipper teeth. And this is just kind of eyeballing it. This is securing the zipper teeth on this one side. So you got to pull the zipper back to do this. And you're just going to stitch across and then backwards. Just this, securing it right here on this edge. And then you're going to flip it around. You're going to do the same thing on the other side, about 1.5 inches over from the fabric, or 1 inch or so. And you're just going to go back and forth over the zipper teeth. So be sure to have your zipper back before you do that. All right, so let me get to where we are on the instructions. So now we're going to trim away about 1/4 inch from where you'd stitch across, trim away that excess zipper tape from the edge of where you'd stitched it here and here. Okay, so this is how far we've gotten. Now we're just going to be putting it all together. So we're going to go ahead and open it up a little bit more. Now we're going to take both of our right pieces and our bottom piece. Now we're going to clip them. We're going to stitch these down. So taking my 2 exterior, I'm going to place them right sides together and match up my edges. And I'm going to clip them. So now we're going to stitch all the way around, but we're going to do one side first and then we'll do the other. But I'm going to show you a little trick that I had done. Once you put matching up these seams, you're wanting to get as close as you can to this zipper teeth without sewing into the zipper teeth. So I like to start on the bottom and I come up one side and then I come up and then I flip it over and I do the other side, just so I can get as close as I can to the zipper teeth. So I'm lining up my edges, giving it a clip. We're going to start with just doing the exterior piece first, and then we'll do the lining, because we are literally almost complete with this project. So we'll do the exterior and then the lining. So now let's get this stitched. I like to start on the center on this one because I'm going to stitch all the way around. When I sew the lining together, we're going to leave an opening so that we can turn it. So starting somewhere around the middle at the bottom, I got my machine set on my 1/4 inch setting. We're going to stitch half of it. I like to come up to where I pivot, rotate, and then we're going to stitch as close as I can to the very top without getting into the zipper. Keeping edges matched up, and then back tack. Cut your threads and then flip it over and repeat that for the other side. And just sew it all the way up. Getting as close without hitting the zipper. Once we have that side done, I want you to make sure your zipper is fully open, as much as you can open it without going all the way off. Still keeping it about an inch from the edge of the fabric. And then now we're going to line up our lining. We're going to do the same thing, except now we're going to stitch back tack here, stitch up, back tack here, leaving about, I think we're going to leave about a 2-inch opening. That way you'll be able to turn it. So lining up your edges and leaving a 2-inch opening. We're going to flip it back and forth to get both sides done, stitching as close to the zipper as we can. And then we'll have that opening for turning. So I'm going to start right here. Back tack. And then we're going to go around our curve and get as close as we can to the zipper. I need to pull that zipper in just a little bit. And we get as close as we can without going into the zipper. And back tack there. And then do the other side, but being sure to leave your 2-inch opening for turning. Pulling that zipper out of the way. Getting as close as you can. All right, so now you're going to find your opening that you had left. Now, I didn't leave much of one, but you're going to reach in, you're going to go ahead and grab it and pull it through your opening. I think I left mine at about less than 2 inches, but we're getting it through. Feeding it through. Fun part, right? Well, hold on. Here we go. There we go. Now she's coming out. Once you get the zipper through, it comes right out. And if you have a turning tool, I got my trusty little knitting needle here. I'm going to go in here and push out all of my edges. If you wanted, you could go ahead and clip your curves, but I didn't clip the curves. I just push out all my edges. All pushed out, and then push it out for the lining. So the only thing left is to sew your little bitty opening closed. I'm just going to catch that little spot right there. And that is it. How easy is this? Then you just tuck your lining inside. And you made the cutest little holiday. Of course, it doesn't have to be holiday fabric. It could be whatever you want it to be. Cutest little coin pouch. But this is the Martelli mini puff pouch. How adorable is that? Just a simple project to do. Just a quick, easy, make cute little gifts for anybody. Absolutely. All right, so that is the Martelli puff pouch mini. And again, what day was this? Well, this was December the 17th. Hope you enjoy making this project. It was absolutely a lot of fun. I can't wait to see some of the things that you all make. Y'all have a fantastic day and happy holidays, and I'll talk to you again real soon. Bye-bye, everybody.